Dallas Goedert, come on down. You are the next contestant on the Denver Broncos' never-ending quest to find a tight end. The tight end market is getting thinner and thinner, so now the Denver Broncos might have to pivot towards a trade. It is getting really, really tough for teams that need a tight end right now. I talked about that, yes, the draft is very much full of good tight ends, but you can't go into the draft with a glaring need at any position. That's how you get jumped by other teams in the draft and you end up with nothing. The Broncos, even if they want to draft Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland or Elijah Arroyo or Mason Taylor or Gunnar Helm or whoever they want to get in the draft, they still need to add somebody, be it in free agency or through a trade. And now, with the free agent market getting so bare, Jawan Johnson came off today. I think that we might need to start looking towards the trade market, and a really intriguing option might be available in Dallas Goedert for the Denver Broncos. I want to bring in this tweet from NFL insider Josina Anderson. There are league sources who believe that the Eagles are holding out hope for at least a fourth-round pick for Dallas Goedert in a potential trade, even if said pick was from later years like 26 or 27. However, a lower pick and more of a salary adjustment is needed for some teams to continue conversations. Either way, Goedert is a Super Bowl champion and one of the nicer people you'll speak to in the league and in that locker room. Bro, if Dallas Goedert is available in a trade, I would happily give up a 2025 fourth-round pick to get him. But if his market value is lower than that, please, absolutely, I will gladly take Dallas Goedert. I'm so sorry for the informality of this. We're going to go ahead and look up his contract real quick here. I'm glad I had Spot Track up. Because I don't care how much we'd have to adjust salary here. I really don't. Let's look at what his cap hit is for 24. $9 million? Hell, I'd give up the fourth round pick and I'd pay him the $9 million. Dallas Goedert is one of the better starting caliber tight ends that's out there, dude. I don't understand why we're not making this move. This is a move that makes so much sense for the Denver Broncos. If you look at Dallas Goedert's overall production in the regular season, he only played in 10 games. He did suffer an injury in the back half of the season, but 500 yards and 2 touchdowns in those 10 regular season games. Then he comes back for the playoffs and catches 17 passes, 215 yards, and a touchdown there. He was very productive in the playoffs. I don't even understand why the Philadelphia Eagles seem so keen to move off from him. This seems like a rare Howie Roseman L. He would check pretty much every single box that the Denver Broncos need in a tight end. He's an effective receiving tight end, and he can block. Dude, make this move, George. Make this move, Sean. Dallas Goedert could be the answer to your problems at this position. And even if you were to trade a later round pick for Dallas Goedert and took on his salary this year, that won't stop you from drafting a Tyler Warren or a Colston Loveland in the draft. In fact, it might make it easier because then teams know that you're not desperate for a tight end and they won't try to jump you. So, dude, this makes so much sense on so many levels. Please, Broncos, go get Dallas Goedert. Go get him right now. I'm somebody who's been pushing a David Njoku to Denver narrative for probably the past year now. But honestly, if you could get Dallas Goedert, bro, that would be even better, especially considering that the Eagles are pretty willing to part ways with him for pretty cheap. Like, I would give up a 2025 fourth round pick, and I would pay his salary to get him. That's how desperate the Broncos are for a starting caliber tight end, and honestly, I wouldn't even call that overpay. To think that league offices out there think that's overpay is kind of an indictment of why there aren't a whole lot of winning franchises in the NFL right now. Sean, George, I implore you to make this move. Go get Dallas Goedert. Go get him right now. If you get him right now, I will literally scream and jump for joy because he could be the stopgap that the Denver Broncos desperately need at their revolving door at tight end. Please go get Dallas Goedert. Alright guys, be sure to leave a like on this video as well, subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed, and let me know in the comment section below, guys. Are you on the same page with me on this one? Do you guys want to go out and get Dallas Goedert? Because I implore you to listen to me on this. Just because the Denver Broncos want to get a tight end in the draft doesn't mean they shouldn't get one in free agency. Free agency is for putting putty in the holes in the boat so it doesn't sink before you get to the draft. If you get to the draft desperate for a tight end, like I said earlier, you might not end up with one at all. That is a bad process, and the Denver Broncos don't generally go into the draft with desperate needs under this current regime. Even when they had a need at quarterback last year, they still went out and got Zach Wilson a couple of days before the draft, just in case, so it made it look like they were slightly less desperate. That way a team like the Rams or maybe the Saints, who were interested in Bo Nix, wouldn't jump them because they knew Denver had no choice. They had to draft a tight end or a quarterback or they were screwed. It would be the same thing this year with tight end, and there are other teams who need tight ends. Indianapolis Colts, they are desperate for a tight end. They probably had a worse tight end room than the Denver Broncos did last year. Kansas City's going to need a tight end here pretty soon because Travis Kelce's probably only going to be there one more year. There are other teams that could jump the Broncos for a Tyler Warren or a Colston Loveland. They cannot go into the draft with a desperate need at tight end. Getting Dallas Goedert won't stop them from being able to draft one of those players. In fact, it might help them. All right, guys, and until next time, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.